Hello and welcome to this how-to video of Swift Cloud ERP. In this video, I'm introducing you to the procurement module of the software. This is actually the first of a 6-part series that unravels how Swift Cloud ERP manages procurement in general. We'll be looking at first how to create a procurement workflow. That's setting up the steps, the stages, the staff, and the roles that they play in the entire procurement process from when a request is made to when a vendor is being selected. Then I'm going to show you also how to create different procurement categories, also how to add vendors to the various procurement categories. And third, we'll move to the actual procurement request. So when a procurement request is made, it has to pass through the workflow that I mentioned earlier. So assuming that procurement is to, let's say, purchase 2 computers, the request is to purchase 2 computers and it's been approved. All the vendors registered under the procurement category receive a notification that, hey, this company wants to purchase 2 computers, and if you're interested, you can go and fill in your quote and tell us how much you're willing to supply them at. In addition to that, you can also manually add vendors also. So you have vendors that are not necessarily in the procurement category. You can also share the bids or the open tenders with them. Then we'll move to the next stage, which is the vendors actually placing a bid. So the vendors can log into a self-service module branded in your company's name, and they can go in, see all open tenders, and then attend to them, then do their final submission. Like I said earlier, you also have another option where if the vendors don't have access to a computer, they can just simply fill in their quotes and then send them back to you. The procurement officer or whichever staff is assigned to that role logs into the system and enters all the vendors' bids on their behalf and then submits. Then we'll move to the next stage, which is vendor selection. And that also works according to the workflow. So the staff that's assigned that role logs into the system, and he or she is able to assess all the submitted bids and can choose the most affordable one, or choose based on the criteria that the company has set. It's interesting here to know that Swift Cloud ERP would always list the bids from the vendors from the lowest price to the highest price so that it's easy to take that decision. So assuming a vendor is being selected, Swift Cloud ERP also handles the notification aspect and sends a mail, a text message, or a WhatsApp message to the vendor telling him or her that his or her company has been selected and they should proceed with the next stages, which is mostly to do the supply. Now, when we get to the vendor selection, the procurement process with Swift Cloud ERP ends. However, Swift Cloud ERP also supports things like processing the request when the processing the orders when the vendor decides to do the supply or provide the services, down to checking whether the items were delivered as described, down to quality control, and it generates a goods received note at the end of the process. Then you can proceed with making requests for payment to the vendor and others. So those are covered by other workflows within Swift Cloud ERP. But our focus is going to be on the procurement part of this software. Now the question is, why procurement? You agree with me that Swift Cloud ERP has helped so many businesses streamline operations and reduce fraud to the barest minimum, specifically using our inventory control module. But you also agree with me that the procurement process precedes the inventory control. So our thinking is this: if we can streamline that process also, we will be able to reduce fraud to the barest minimum. Because let's face it, many procurement officers collude with vendors to make sure that prices are hiked and the companies don't get the best deal. But what this system seeks to achieve is create some kind of transparency and some level playing field for all vendors. So vendors simply submit their quotes: I'm going to offer these services at X amount of money, and the company just simply chooses which of the vendors they are comfortable working with. So with this, we are providing a 360-degree cover and reducing fraud to the barest minimum. So in the next video, I'll be showing you how to create a procurement workflow. See you in the next video. Bye.